Sam Watkins was a brutal, insanely jealous man. His wife Emily was a timid, frail woman, a bride of 3 summers whose time was spent with one thought in mind, the making of a happy home for her moody, ungrateful husband. Their log cabin home was up an isolated hollow a mile from the nearest road, where the neighboring farmers hauled their grain and produce to the village about 4 miles away. Sam knew Emily was pure and faithful, but it served his purpose to accuse her of being too friendly with the son of their nearest neighbor, who occasionally came over to help with the plowing and spring seeding. It helped to provide a smokescreen for an affair with a young German girl, the adopted daughter of Henry Schneider, who lived about 1/4 of a mile up the hollow. Sam often went to town late in the afternoon and came home after dark so that he might meet the flaxen-haired Hilda. One evening, Emily delayed milking later than usual, and when she went to the barnyard, she found that one of her 3 cows had not come in with the others. She milked the 2 cows, then started out through the pasture toward the west gate next to the woods. She did not call, for she had found that late in the evening the cows would often stop feeding in order to still their bells and keep from being found. And so it was that Emily, walking on the thick grass, was close upon the guilty lovers before they were aware of her approach, and they could do nothing but crouch in the shadows. Just then a cowbell tinkled, and Emily turned out of the path and down the hill where Brindle, the missing cow, stood quietly chewing her cud. She drove the cow to the milking lot, unaware of the fright she had given the guilty couple. Finally, Hilda broke the silence. "Do you think she saw us?" "I don't know. We can never be sure, damn it," Sam said. "There is only one thing to do to be sure. You run home and keep mum, and I'll do the rest." Taking a roundabout way, Sam reached the spring beyond the house. He knew Emily always went for water to wash the dishes and her milk pails. "This will be her last trip for water," he said. "She brought it all on herself by her accursed snooping around." Hidden by branches and the dark, he waited. A flood of light from the open door told him his wife was starting to the spring. He crouched in the spruce thicket that surrounded the spring. A sudden breeze moved the branches slightly, and a sighing like that of a departing spirit caused his flesh to creep and his blood to chill. Now he could hear Emily's footsteps, and her slight form emerged from the shadows. As she knelt to dip the water, his hand grabbed her hair and a sharp blade slashed across her throat. A sharp wailing cry pierced the silence of the night, but only once, for the murderer pressed her head into the spring, stifling all but a gurgling sound which soon stopped. Breathlessly, Sam Watkins gazed upon the still body of his dead wife. He knew his job was not finished. He must hide the body, and hide it well. Below the spring was a large pond fed by the spring. A few blows with a mattock and the pond was drained, and 10 minutes of work with a spade excavated a shallow grave. It took but a moment to place the slight body in the watery tomb and cover it with the cold mud. In a short time the break in the wall was mended. By morning, thought Sam, the pond will be full again. I will be safe. 10 days later he reported the disappearance of his wife. He said she had threatened to leave him, and one night he came home and she was gone. Just a little domestic trouble, folks thought. Everything will turn out all right. But things did not go well with Sam. He went about his work as usual, but he could not sleep. Often he heard peculiar sounds coming from the kitchen early in the morning, sounds like those Emily had made preparing breakfast. At the evening milking, the cows seemed restless and would sometimes stampede from the milking lot. For many days, Watkins would not go near the spring, although he had removed all traces of blood and had cleaned the spring thoroughly and limed it to purify the water. However, as weeks passed, he felt more at ease and started going to the spring again. It was much better water than he had been getting from the old wet-weather spring under the willow tree in the garden. One night he went for water later than usual. The night was cloudy, and there was no moon. Sam felt ill at ease. The wind played upon the spruce branches, reminding him of the last exhalation of breath as the soul flies from the body. Then there was a soul-rending scream. Sam gave a hoarse cry and fled. He never knew when he passed the house. He only knew he fled in mortal fear. The next summer, for the first time, the spring went dry. The pond, of course, dried up too. Early in the fall, a neighbor boy was passing through the farm. His dog began digging in the soft mud in the bottom of the pond. The boy noticed a piece of cloth and tugged on it. When it would not come loose, he took a sharp stick and in a short time found that the cloth was on a human body. He reported the find, and the body was dug up. The mysterious disappearance of Emily Watkins was solved. Sam Watkins was later found, and he made a full confession of the murder. At his trial, he was judged insane and was committed to an institution where he spent the remainder of his life. Afterward, no one would live on the farm. Weird noises were heard in the vicinity of the spring. The moaning of the wind in the spruce boughs sounded like a plaintive lament. Between 8 and 9, any summer evening, a strange gurgling could be heard. Then a shrieking cry would pierce the silence, and the birds, frightened, would scud off into the night. Neighbors said that every year, on the anniversary of the killing, the crystal spring water changed to the color of blood.